Just got back from running the dog. We've got an empty field we go to and play fetch. And when I got home, what I want to do is rest, but right away the guilty shame part of my brain is saying, are you sure you shouldn't start a project or get something done? And I thought about what I'd heard the shepherdess say in the video I watched today. A shepherdess in Ireland. She is a farmer. She raises sheep, alpaca, and bees. And she had just trapped a swarm of bees. And she was all covered in her... actually, she hadn't trapped it, she'd found it. She'd attempted to trap it, and the bees had got loose, and well, she tried to get some in. Anyways, she's sitting down with her camera watching the swarm, and she says, well, I got lots done today, so it's okay for me to sit down and observe these bees. Now, if she was being paid an hourly wage, and that was her job that afternoon, she wouldn't stop to justify being idle for a moment while waiting for the bees to settle down. But as a self-motivated person, you always have that thought in the back of your head, is there something else I could be doing? Because idle hands make devils work, and humans don't naturally idle. We need to remind ourselves to stop and rest. And I think that for a lot of people who have been forced to stop and rest, this truth has finally come home. They don't like sitting and doing nothing. A lot of folks out there have been working at the behest of someone else, doing someone else's needs. And it feels thankless and pointless, except that they know that it's the only way to pay the rent. For them, it's a forced labor. It's a type of slavery. I call it wage slavery. They very often can't even choose to leave or to switch jobs or to find alternative sources of income. They're very often stuck where they are, and more often than not underneath someone who is an egotist and a narcissist and a bully. That's an all too common situation in the workforce today. And in such a situation, all of your unpaid time is idle time, and all of your stolen idle time is precious. And you think in your mind that being idle is the most freedom thing you can think of, that being idle is a mark of freedom, it's a mark of power, it's a mark of success. That idleness is a goal. And it's actually an extremely unnatural goal, and to feel that way about it is extremely unnatural. It's created by an unnatural system where you're not getting paid for your efforts, you're getting paid for your presence. I once said to a customer who kept going on and on and on about how much they didn't really need to hire me for the job. Said customer wanted to impress upon me the charity of hiring me to do the work. It was extremely painful work. I promise you, anybody would have suffered pain. Pain from having to wear the respirator continuously on the hot summer days. Pain from the muscle pain. Pain from all the nicks and scratches you receive on the job. Just pain for the long, hard hours. Backache, the whole shebang. And I don't care if I'm taking pain. It's less than I don't mind. I actually don't care. As long as the pain isn't a sign of something that's going to get cruel, then I just kind of take it in stride as part of life. And I'm okay with it. And I've been noticing that that's not usual. That's probably because I went for 40 years without using aspirin of any kind. No pain pills. I avoided them. I wanted to be strong enough to take pain and use less painkillers when I got old and things started to really break. I felt that while I was young, all of my aches and pains I was strong enough to take it, and I should, because it would condition me for these years. And I can't thank myself enough for that. I was right. It really did. And painkillers are still actually pretty ineffective, but my pain tolerance is aces. So I said to this customer, well, so really, you're paying me to take your pain for you. That didn't blow over very well, because that wasn't the point that the customer was trying to get. The customer wanted me to be grateful and thankful for the charity that I was receiving, and to recognize that my labor was merely a token in the exchange, not the point of the exchange. And I was trying to assert myself as a genuine laborer, that the work I was doing genuinely was worth the value of what I was being paid, that this was no flippant charity. And of course, you know, that is the last time I ever dealt with that person. I will not be dealing with that customer again for anything, just because of the nature of the exchanges throughout the job were based on belittling me and aggrandizing the customer. And I decided after that experience that I just, nothing's worth it. I'd rather be a homeless bum if that's what it takes to avoid being treated like that. And that's because for years I have not had to knuckle under some narcissist. Frankly, I never could. It's one of the reasons I've never been gainfully employed on a long term. I don't tolerate that sort of treatment. And when I go through my day, I don't sit idle. I have actually a list of things that I can choose from, both an actual written down digital, I won't say physical list, and a list in my mind. Like for instance, I still haven't written down clean the rust off the winter wheels on my to-do list. I really should, because the only time I remember it is when I walk past the wheels. And that's never at a time when I can start it. And at a time when I'm sitting here going, okay, what'll I do with myself? I'm rested. I'm clear of all other jobs. What shall I do? And the car wheels don't come to mind. That is when I should think, well, I'll check my to-do list and I'll have a look at it. I did that yesterday, and as a consequence, got my entire attic vacuumed out. Just boom. Just like that. I was going to do more up there, but then my kidney pain started and I had to quit because I thought I was going to have kidney surgery this weekend, but nope. Apparently if Tylenol can make it go away, we pretend it's not hurting and we pretend there's nothing wrong, unless and until it's so bad that there's no way to ignore it. So, this will be a fun experiment. The doctor in question, upon dismissing me, said, "You're a special case. We really have no idea what's going to happen with you or what to do." I says, "I was afraid of that, doc. I was Googling and I couldn't find anything." And he says, "No, I don't expect you did." So apparently a person walking around with a non-functional kidney still stuck in their body with no kidney disease because it's a mechanical fault. Basically, I got nicked in surgery and lost a kidney. It's surgical scarring. Surgical scarring has caused the loss of the kidney. And apparently this event is such a rare thing that nobody knows how to deal with it. And it's really impossible to say for sure that I'm not having some sort of muscle cramps, that I'm not sitting funny. Tylenol it is. Am I ruining this video? It's supposed to be a rant about how we spend our time and how natural people naturally keep themselves busy, naturally drive themselves, naturally have a list of things to do, and naturally get things done. And I think if you stick people in a situation where what they're doing is producing items for sale, or producing a service for sale, basically piecework, you get that sort of thing. When people are working for piecework wages, you get paid for the output and the product. They tend to organize themselves beautifully. I don't know what the solution is. The beautiful thing about wage work is the security. Well, you see, he agrees. But the security is a lie, right? Because you can get fired anytime. Your business can go under. There's just all these stupid things that can happen. But you've got benefits. You know exactly what your income is. Month after month after month, you could plan on it. You could bet on it. As long as the job holds, your life can be planned around it. Your time is planned. You don't have situations where you run overtime because this job is especially difficult. You ran into a hitch or a tool broke, for example, or, you had planned out your time. You know how long it's going to take you to do today's job, but you never expected the compressor to blow, and you spent the entire day running around trying to rent one. So now you've got to work till 10. You don't get to go home at 5. Because you wasted those 5 hours in traffic trying to find a compressor. To give you an example, that's the sort of thing when you work piecework and contract work. I'm sitting up on my knees and they're starting to complain. After 10 minutes, they don't like to sit up. And if I sit down, then you can't see me anymore and I have to adjust the camera and blah, blah, blah. I don't think there's a whole lot more on this topic, though, because if there was, I wouldn't keep drifting off sidetracks. Essentially, I think that the long time off work should have you thinking seriously about how you earn your money. What is money? Where does money come from? Why do we need money? And is it really the only way? I don't think it is, but I'm not the economist to solve it completely. But I really get a feeling that some form of a local barter economy is going to do better. Money's so damn convenient, you know. We'd like to keep that convenience. And we like the anonymous convenience of it. When you start going digital, it's not anonymous anymore. Bitcoin isn't any more anonymous than anything else. I'm sorry. Sooner or later, they track you down. But governments aren't going to get into Bitcoins. Come on. People aren't going to get into Bitcoins anymore. I mean, Bitcoins looked good. See, this is... I just found another place to take this topic, to go for another 10 minutes on this one. Bitcoins, I remember when they first came out, they were quite affordable. And they were not unlike what I call the Let's coin system, where people just assign Let's dollars to each other in a system in return for exchange of goods and services. But what happened in the Bitcoin market is the money mongers spotted it and went, hey, this is a viable alternative economy, let's ruin it. And bought up all the Bitcoins. And kept buying up all the Bitcoins. And then set up Bitcoin farms so that any legitimate way of getting Bitcoins is off the table. And now if you want one lousy bit dollar, it's going to cost you a frickin' mortgage. So we cannot rely on an alternative economic money system. Anything you put in place that can be traded is going to be abused by the money mongers, if only to destroy it. To destroy it or to hoard it, one or the other. So you're going to have to come up with something that has real value, intrinsic value, the way gold once did. That is small and carryable. Coins and gold were once worth the value of the metal of which they were made. And that kind of money is the only thing you can really trust, because it holds value from country to country. I mean, Spain may have a higher value on gold than Canada because Canada's got more, but it still has a value. You can still take your gold Canadian coins to Spain and buy eggs. You can, in the old world, the old system before fiat money was invented. And I think what we're really seeing is a need to revamp that and go back from the fiat money system to a representative money system. I mean, right now, every single country in the world is in debt. Well, to whom? How can everybody be in debt? Someone holds the deeds, right? Let's go find them and take them out. Not what you do. If there's one guy in town that everybody owes money to and nobody wants to pay him, what happens to him? You don't think he gets paid. He's got to have someone to enforce his bills. And if he has even the enforcers owing him money, he's done. And that's kind of getting to be the situation. If the World Bank holds the deeds to all those loans, every country in the world now, after the quarantine, and we've all been borrowing like maniacs, they're in trouble. Because we're not paying. Something's gonna happen. And stop worrying about people being lazy and start worrying about people being enabled. Because when you enable people to do what they really want to do, you get a lot more production out of them. The economy would eventually really thrive again. Because the economy at its most base, the real true economy, is the value of the output, of the product of the citizens of the country. And if those citizens aren't producing because they feel unvalued, because their time is being wasted by some jackass in an office that wants them to file something in triplicate. We don't know what they're capable of. Good luck.